Welcome to the Love Rekindled show, where real stories, heartfelt advice, and expert guidance come together to help you create richer, more meaningful relationships. Meet your certified relationship coaches, Margot and Antonio Taylor. Through transformative coaching, informative workshops, and special events, the Love Rekindled community empowers families and couples to grow closer, communicate openly, and embrace the power of love. This is the Love Rekindled show. Let's begin.
Tonight's show is going to be about ego versus us, when pride becomes the third person in the relationship. So remember, ego is loud and pride is stubborn, and together they can quietly destroy a relationship from the inside out. So many couples struggle, not because they don't love each other, but because ego won't let them listen and pride won't let them soften. When we're more focused on being right than being connected, love becomes a battlefield instead of a partnership. So tonight, we're unpacking how ego shows up, how pride sneaks into communication, and how these two silent enemies can block growth, peace, and emotional intimacy. Because relationships don't crumble from lack of love, they crumble when love can't get past ego. This conversation will challenge couples and singles to look inward, let go of the need to win, and learn how humility, vulnerability, and emotional maturity can transform a relationship from the defense to deeply connected. Welcome, Mr. Taylor.
Hey,
to this show.
Yes. That was a lot, but this is going to be really, really good. So I would tell everybody, go get your person and tell them come take a seat with you.
Definitely need to take a seat. But before we get into this conversation, we do need to celebrate, guys. The Love Rekindle, we are in season 3. I'm going to clap.
Go ahead. You know what? I'm going to clap with you.
Absolutely. Because guess what, guys? We started the Love Rekindle at our dining room table, okay?
We did.
So to be in season 3, super excited about it. Here doing our show, we say welcome. Welcome to the Love Rekindle show, season 3.
Welcome to season 3, guys, and we're going to jump right in.
Yes, this is good. This is a great topic, and I'm excited we're bringing light to it.
It is, because I think everybody brings some form of ego and pride into a relationship.
You think so?
Oh, everybody. So fellas, I can't go to war for you today. This is something everybody bring into it. And the reality of it is, the soon as you get that ego under wraps and that pride under wraps, your relationship will go to another level. And it's going to be something that you constantly work on. I still work on it to this day.
Yeah.
It's funny, they say ego hears to respond. Love hears to understand.
Absolutely.
So I think that's a good place to start at. And I'm pretty much going to start with you, because I'm sure you didn't come into our marriage with no ego. I'm sure you came with no ego at all.
You know what, Tonio? Well, I don't know.
I know.
I don't know if I had an ego. I don't know if I was just stubborn and had bad habits.
Oh, I can answer that. You had a very huge ego.
I did.
And you had a lot of pride as well. And I totally get it and I understand it, because your ego and pride attracted me to you. But we had to grow together to get it, to maintain it, because ego and pride is just not a good thing at times.
Okay, well, listen, I'm a student to the game, and I'm here to learn just like you. So let's get on into it. Well, for me, I do feel like ego play a part in the demise of relationships, definitely.
Yes.
And a lot of that comes from you just being full of yourself and not willing to see the other person's perspective, or to really just say, how I'm feeling right now really don't matter. Let me hear what you have to say. And I do feel like when you get to a place of love, you do communicate and you do deal with your partner different from a more understanding perspective.
Yeah. You know what's the most unique thing about ego and pride? It looks the same for male and women. For men and women in the relationship. It doesn't look different. A man egos look just the same as a woman. And I think that's the most unique thing. And I would say this, ego and pride is probably the only two things that looks the same in a relationship, I would say.
Okay, so cool. For this conversation, we'll say ego.
Okay.
Now, what I'm learning is that I didn't realize how much. Now, okay, the cliche is that men have an ego. That is what it is.
That is the cliche.
But I think I never really realized how much women had egos until like recent years, honestly. And that just came from, I guess, social circles, being in certain spaces.
Oh, be transparent. This is the time to be transparent.
Just social circles with other women.
Okay.
you really start seeing, the ego, the me, the I,
So you start seeing what I was seeing in you is what you saying?
not so much what you saw in me, because I don't think I was me. It's all about me person.
That is true.
My ego came from, I ain't finna apologize to you. I ain't finna say nothing to you. If I don't feel like doing it, I ain't doing it. That was my ego. I never was a boastful person. I never was me, I.
So let me ask you this: that we talking, what ego that you see in other women that you can speak to? Because I definitely got some egos that I can speak to.
I can speak to all of the behaviors, because I have people around me, and I have been friends with people and still friends with people that have it.
So let the people know. Let the people know some of the egos that shows up.
Well, some of the egos that show up in women, I can only speak for us ladies, is sometimes we get wrapped up in feeling like we're self-made. We feel like, I'm the breadwinner, I'm the boss, I'm self-made. That comes with an ego in your relationship if you put it in the relationship.
Got you.
Another ego would be how mine was. I ain't apologizing. Hell, I said what I said. I meant what I said. You get what I'm saying? So no matter how much I'm watching you hurt.
I think I still got trauma. When I hear you say that, I still got trauma.
That's fine. Guess what? Everybody got trauma in relationships. But my thing is that that's another form of ego, right? I know that I can give you something to relieve you. I know that I can love on you. I know that I can say I'm sorry, but I'm just not going to do it.
Yeah. Yeah. And I can honestly say in a real moment, I'm really grateful that you pushed through that. Because just what you said, it is something that your partner need from you. And if you ever can get outside of the ego to give them what they need, your relationship go to another level. And the thing that I see on the flip side with men, we have this thing where it's all way or no way. I think that's our ego. And I don't know what great coach just can do what they want to do and not consult with the other members on the team.
Right.
And so I would say, men, we are the coaches, we are the leaders of our home, but there's no way for you to lead your home the right way without consulting with the other players. And we really have to keep our ego in check, because I feel a man's ego can really wreck the home, especially if we are the head. So that's something that we really have to really work through.
Well, you know what, Antonio, I understand, and I get your perspective where, men are the head of the house, and, men are responsible for everything that happens in their home, and I get that part. But what I will say is a woman's ego in a marriage or a relationship is just as damaging as a man.
Okay.
Because a woman's ego in a marriage or relationship will end it as well. Because you can't be that self-absorbed in the relationship. You got to understand it's a partnership, it's we. And I think one of my important points that I kind of want to hit on is a lot of times in relationships, we have this need to be right. Okay, so the question is that when we're going back and forth and we're in that space of ego, we got to ask ourselves, are we debating or are we destroying each other? Because I don't think people really realize that. And let's be clear, your ego can break your partner down in a very subtle way. It doesn't have to be, a boisterous or, you're coming at them crazy. It can be those subtle conversations, those subtle comments to put your person down or make your person feel less than in the relationship that will form resentment.
Yeah, I think any act that you do that's a selfish act is an ego. So I think anything we do selfish is an ego call.
I could agree.
And I think, in all fairness, I think every relationship goes on a journey. Well, you're going to have moments where you're prideful, you're egotistic. You're going to have those moments. What I would say to anybody, get comfortable being uncomfortable. I remember we had a conversation when I was having my ego issues, and something you said that really landed with me. You tasked me with being different. I was so used to responding how I wanted to respond. So if something happened, I just would say it. Hey, do this, do that. And I really had to be very mindful and check my ego and say, I'm talking to my wife. So let me soften a little bit, because I wanted you to be soft. So I can't be as hard in wanting you to be soft. So what I'll say to my guys, be the change you want to see. Being the head, it really comes with a great responsibility. But I think if you start giving your wife or your partner or your girlfriend the things that you want to see, they'll give it to you in return.
You know what? I totally agree with what you're saying. And in my thoughts, I feel like ego blocks the vulnerability.
It does.
And I feel like vulnerability builds love in the relationship. And so many times from past experiences, because I could tell you my ego didn't come from me wanting to be a certain way or postured in a relationship or wanting to be seen a certain way. My ego, just really for real, it came from survival. You know, just being in bad situations, being young, not having protection. Mother died at 10, you know, raised, figuring life out, and you build a form of protection, because what I realized very early on in my life is if I don't protect myself, no one will.
So it's funny you say that, because I think you just clarified how ego also come from trauma. Ego and pride come from trauma. And if you're not really mindful, you think people just born with certain ego, certain pride. No, when you see ego and pride, guys, it's coming from something.
Yes.
And it's funny you say that, because every egotistical problem I had, my ego came from abandonment. So I felt abandoned as a child a lot. So my ego, it showed up that way.
Yeah.
So I put a lot of stuff on you with my ego because I didn't want to be abandoned.
Right.
Be abandoned.
I get that. That makes a lot of sense. And I could tell you this, vulnerability is a big thing in any relationship. And I try to, especially when we talk to couples and we have these type of conversations, just understanding the importance of being vulnerable.
And being open.
And the thing is that being vulnerable in a relationship is one of the scariest things you'll probably ever do, right? Because you're telling your person, like, I'm giving you full access to my emotions, to my finances, to my life, to my space. That is a scary space to be in. But what we have to realize is that when we're forming relationships and we're getting in these relationships, everybody bringing their baggage.
Yeah.
Everybody bringing their stuff, their trauma, their things. But what do you do when that ego shows up? How do you address your partner when you see ego present itself?
Right. So I think when ego presents itself, I think the right way of doing it, go ahead and have a tough conversation and go head in with it. Attack it head on. I think I made mistakes in our marriage early on. I didn't have the necessary conversation I need to have. And the way the conversation came up, because I didn't initiate the conversation, it didn't come off as right within the conversation. So here I am, I'm frustrated in the conversation because I didn't take the initiative to have the conversation with you like I should have.
Correct.
And a lot of men, we suffer from that. So I think we really just, for starters, have the conversations. If you feel like your partner's being prideful, have an ego situation, have a conversation.
So let's do this, because we do have conversations often about how men may feel sometimes in relationships. So give us an example. If a man is faced with a situation where he's experiencing his wife being egotistical.
Okay.
In a situation that happened, the situation is over, but he felt like she was egotistical in that space. How do you think, and what do you think will be a safe way for a man to approach?
Well, I'm no expert at this part, guys. I still to this day struggle with this. But with me struggling, what I'm learning is always be soft with your partner. Even when you want to react, because there's some things that with men, let's just say dressing. Let's just say I feel you're not dressed a certain way. A part of me, a man want to say, hey, why you got that on? Why you wearing it? That's what a man nature is to do. But when you're trying to coexist with a woman whose nature's not that way, I have to meet you where you at.
Right.
And that's the thing that I've learned as a man. I can't so much operate in certain spaces as a man when I want to connect with you.
Right.
So I think that's the biggest thing that I've learned as a man. I definitely can't act like you, but I have to understand I'm communicating with you.
Correct.
So I can't just react like a man. So I have to be uncomfortable and reach you.
Right.
And I think that's a lot of things with us as men. We struggle with that. And ladies, continue just to give us grace, because it's hard for us to grab that.
I totally agree with your point with that. And I think ultimately, too, the flip side to that is in relationships, when you want someone to be vulnerable, right, you have to be able to give them certain things. And I know we had that struggle early on in our marriage where, you know, I knew that it was some things I needed to work on, but I'm like, you need to make me feel vulnerable, because how you moving and the arguments, I don't feel vulnerable, right? So what I had to realize is it wasn't your job in that space to make me feel vulnerable. I had to make the decision to want to be vulnerable. And when I made the decision to want to be vulnerable, then it started opening up the space in our marriage, and you opened up a space for me to be vulnerable.
Yeah. So guys, to tie it all together, what we're saying with grace, you got to have some grace. When you're dealing with ego and pride, you have to have grace in both people have to want to meet. It's a job for both people to do. It wasn't my job to fix you. It wasn't your job to fix me. It was our job to look in the mirror and work on what we need to work on.
Right.
And I think with pride, it turns partners into opponents.
It does.
I think that's the biggest thing with pride.
They start competing.
That's what ended up happening. And I'm so happy that, because guys, me and Margot, we went through it, but we got to a place where we never let it get there. We always made it about the problem. And
Right.
I'm happy we was able to do that.
Right. I agree because you know what? It is a thin line.
Yes.
It is a thin line when things are happening in your relationship and you guys are not seeing eye to eye, and when there's no real vulnerability put into play. And so
I got to say this too before we go to the next point. I think the biggest thing with pride that's really dangerous, it creates distance. So that time at night when we turn our back on each other, you remember we used to do that? It's that distance that's and I think that's very dangerous.
So what I realize is a lot of times in relationships, I realize a lot of couples, they teeter on that line.
Yes.
Which means that they understand that the egos have been in play, and they're on the verge and silently competing with each other, but no one's dealing with it. No one's having a conversation about it. It can be even things where I'm dealing with things with your family. You dealing with things with my family, and we're not talking about it. Resentment has built in, right? And so now we're teetering this line and not dealing with the situation. We still waking up every day getting the kids ready for school. We still waking up every day going to work, and we're still not talking about it.
Yeah, and what I was leading to, and I know you weren't going to say it, so I'm going to say it. Guys, when you start doing that, that's how you get someone else in your bedroom. At the moment you start doing that, and I'm just going to say that to you, pride will have you starting to compete, and it's very dangerous to do that. To create distance in your marriage is very dangerous.
Yeah.
And in any relationship. So I'm gonna go ahead and say that, because that's exactly what they do when you create the distance.
But the thing is, I don't think people really realize how that you're in the danger zone. When you get into that space, you're literally in the danger zone. Guys, let me be clear about this. There's no room for egos in relationships. It's
pride.
just not. Or pride. It's no room for it. And like I say all the time, pride, 0 calories. Zero, it costs you $0 to put your pride to the side. Why not do it for the betterment of your relationship? It's not going to do anything for you. Your pride will take you down.
And something I was saying earlier about how I was attracted to your pride and your ego, because what happens is when you courting somebody, meeting them, it looks like confidence at the time, and everybody is attracted to confidence.
Right.
So you're attracted to it, but when you get that confident person, it comes with something.
It does.
Nothing wrong with it. You just have to maintain it, because ego and pride can really coexist when you're single.
Yeah.
You need it to be single.
In a crazy way.
And I think that be the change in guard. When you get with somebody on any level, you really have to go address that pride and that ego.
So on the other end, there are women that are in relationships that have egos. You know, we see it all the time. You know, I'm self-made, I'm this, I'm that. You know, I work hard. You know, I'm the breadwinner. You know, I provide, I take care. You know, you hear all of those things. And that definitely is ego driven, even though those are the things maybe that you are doing. But when it's spoken, and so I think a lot of times that be the demise, and that is a problem, because what you do to make money and what you do to be successful is very different than what happens in your relationship.
Absolutely. And funny enough, you brought the whole career thing up, because a lot of times, and I don't want to make this conversation a man versus woman conversation, but it always positioned as if men are intimidated by women with certain things, but it's the ego and the pride that turns men off, and that's the thing that women don't understand.
I can see that.
We're not attracted to women that make money. We love that. It's the ego and pride that come attached with some of the women that make that money that is so disgusting to us. And I think that's something that we really just need to really just think about. Men are not intimidated by how much money you make, ladies. Stop.
Right.
They're not.
Yeah.
It's the stank attitude.
You know what? I can really just understand that. Because a lot of times when you have that ego, it comes with that attitude and that persona that I'm who I am. And that can really make your person feel less than. That can really make anybody you in company with feel less than. And I just think when it comes to egos, you know, in relationships, people are not mindful of that. They're not mindful of how their egos wreck their relationship. And that's what I kind of want to touch on. A lot of times when we get in spaces in our relationships, we feel like we've done this and we've done that and we need all the kudos. And what we start doing is low-key disrespecting our partner or low-key making them feel invaluable.
Yeah, and that goes back to what we were saying about competition. And just for clarity, like competition, can you think of any moment where me and you competed with each other? I really can't, but I do know couples that have competed with each other. And if you can't, so this is what I can say.
I can't.
What competition look like amongst couples is we both have started living a different life for ourselves.
Yeah.
Which means this. I'm looking to get this other job. I want to get a better job than you. I'm not sharing information with you. You getting it last minute. My friends are telling you about what I got going on. So what happened with competition, it becomes, I say it go hand in hand with being secrecy.
Yes.
So what happens is I'm not telling you things because you're not on my team no more.
You've become my component.
Correct, because nobody tell the opponent what they're doing. So that's what competition look like. You stop having the conversation that you need to have. And the reality of it is it's nothing big and or small I should be doing that you don't know about.
Correct.
I don't have to tell you everything, but I'm not going to leave out a whole lot of stuff when I'm talking to you.
Right. So that in that part of the relationship, that's when the breakdown happens.
Yes.
And that's when everybody start living in separate lives. They start doing separate things. Everybody got separate goals. We're not having goals together. We're no longer sitting down talking about our future. We're no longer sitting down talking about the things that we can do together. I'm doing me, you doing you.
It go distance, avoidance, and then a big boom. That's what happens with your relationship. So if you're in a place where you've been distant, then you start avoiding each other, you can rest assured the big boom is happening right after that, guys.
I totally agree. And the thing is that we've talked a lot about pride, ego, how it shows up. But my thing is that what I want to talk to the viewers about is to give them a blueprint and talk to them like, how did we overcome that part with ego? Like what that was like for us. Because a lot of times we can talk about it, but our own experiences give somebody a light to be like, oh, yeah. I dealt with that before. That happened to me before. So I can say my ego, like I talked about earlier, I remember me being very stubborn and in a place where I knew that it was things that I could have given you emotionally in times and arguments, but I refused to. Because I felt like, no, I'm hurt, you gonna hurt too. So we just finna be in this space and I'm not coming off of it. I don't care how sad you look. I don't care how you feel. And that was just so wrong.
And my ego came in a form of immaturity. So I could even know what I should do and just don't do it because I want to be immature and be at a certain space with you. So my ego was immature, and I'm so happy that we worked through it. We had the tough conversations. And what I realized, you was a gift for me, and I needed to treat you as such. And I think that was the saving grace for me to realize I'm responsible for you. It's things that I need to do to make sure we're doing and going in the right direction. So I just took accountability for my actions. That's what worked for me.
Well, what I had to understand is that if I have made a decision that I want to spend the rest of my life with you, right? If I say you're my best friend, if I say you're my partner, right? How could I be in this posture with you and be genuine about my intentions and not give you all of me? And I think a lot of times in relationships, people don't want to do that. They don't want to give their partner all of them. They feel like I need to reserve some for myself, or this is going to happen again, so I don't want to be hurt again. But a real marriage and real relationship requires for you to be vulnerable over and over and over again.
Man, it's funny, Margot, but the healing power of humanity. Like when you just be a good person, just being nice and being a good person, that's part of the healing. So if you guys in a situation where you have been prideful, like I have been, you have had an ego like Margot have had, start being nice. Just start being a good person and own who you have been. That's so when Margot tell me things about me, honestly today, I love it because for me, it's an opportunity for me to get better.
Yeah.
And that's how I see it today. So I used to get offended when you say things to me, but now I welcome it, like critique me because you get to see what nobody else get to see.
Correct.
That's why I want you to critique me.
Right. But the thing is that's growth, right? Yeah. Because for me, like getting over that hump, it wasn't easy, guys. It was a lot of work. That's why we having this conversation.
We're still working today.
It wasn't easy. And guess what? We still check egos today. We still check pride today. And we'll tell each other, look, it ain't no space, it ain't no place for that. Because we ain't got that kind of time. So let's sit down and have a loving conversation. Let's talk to each other like we love each other and like we're here to listen, and let's just do the work. Yeah. And so I think a lot of times if you're a couple and you found yourself in this space, it's okay, right? Because we all navigate. Nobody gives us a blueprint on relationships and marriage. We don't know. Like we're just figuring things out as we go. Yeah. But if you're in that space where you feel like that maybe ego and pride has taken over your relationship in a sense, my thing to you is sit down and talk about it and apologize. That's how you open up that door with your person. If you both are in a space, if you find that you and your partner in a space where y'all sleeping on separate ends of the bed, if y'all not checking in no more during the day, everybody is so distant, involving in working and the kids, and we're not connecting, pull it in, guys. That's why we're having this conversation. We're having this conversation for those of you guys who are struggling. Yeah,
and because we have struggled.
Correct.
We have struggled with ego and pride. That's why we feel like this is very, very, very important to have.
And at the moment we killed that, our communication is so much better.
It did. And you know what, Margo? This is what's unique. Ego and pride is in every relationship. If you sit here listening to us now, it's in your relationship right now.
Right.
Just show up different with it. Just show up. Be nice.
I agree.
Be loving.
I agree. So the thing is that to get over the hump, it's going to take you really facing what has happened. And doing that, you're going to hear some things you don't want to hear, right? You're going to hear your partner regurgitate some things you might have said that you wasn't too proud of. But stand in it because that's what it takes. In relationships, when you can overcome those moments, that's what it's about.
And you know what, as I'm hearing you talk too, I think another big problem with ego, it turns your ears off. When I remember those moments when I was ego, I heard nothing you say, and my pride, I didn't even care what you were saying. So when ego and pride, it will really wreck your relationship. So guys, we have to really, really check the ego and the pride.
I agree because the thing is it caused more harm than good. And at the end of the day, you're in relation to build, you're in relation to find purpose, you're in relation to love each other and give each other what y'all need. So what are y'all doing when y'all got ego and pride in y'all relationship? That means that y'all got a third person in y'all relationship. It ain't just you and him, him and her. It's a third person. Ego and pride is a third person in your relationship. And just keep in mind, there's no room for that. So my thing is, if you're recognizing in this conversation that, man, maybe this is a situation for me, sit down with your partner and have the tough conversations.
Yeah, because ego will have you saying you right when you 1,000% wrong.
Man. But the thing
1,000% wrong.
But it won't only have you in that posture, but it'll have you blind to the danger of your relationship. It'll have you blind to how, like y'all on this slippery slope, your pride will have you feeling and thinking y'all in a whole nother place. And really you one business card away, you one lunch date away, right? You one, hey, beautiful away from sliding down a slippery slope. Yeah. But no one wants to address it. Yeah, no one wants to have the real conversations. And not just to have the conversations, y'all, have the conversations with a resolve. Have the conversations with real, genuine apologies. Yeah. Have those conversations because that's the only way you're able to self-correct that.
Yeah, and this is what I'll say too, because I can say this, it's definitely speak for me. As we start healing and moving along, I didn't walk away from no conversation feeling some type of way anymore. And in the beginning, almost every conversation we had, I still walked away feeling how I felt when we started the conversation. And I'm saying that to say, to your point, have conversations, guys, for resolve. And if you remove the ego and pride, it's a shorter walk to get resolved.
It is.
Because it's not about me being right. It's not about you being right. We're discussing what's going on and what's the better way for us to move together.
I agree. Relationships aren't easy, y'all.
Oh, no.
Like, it takes a lot of work. And that's why we're bringing light to this, because we care about the health of your relationship. And we care about you being healthy as you're trying to date, right? You're trying to figure things out. You're trying to figure out what happened in the old relationship, right? Think about those things that person shared with you. Listen, I knew when I was with my pride. I knew when I was sitting there being stubborn, saying, no, I ain't doing it. Like, I don't care what happened. If ain't nobody trying to kill my kids, I'm listen, 10 toes down in it. Get off of it. What are you doing it for? It's costing you more harm than good. Yeah. And that's the reason for this conversation.
Yeah, you know what, Margot? Your happiness is on the other end of letting ego and pride go.
Yes, I agree.
Seriously, like it's no way that you can be happy and thriving in a marriage where ego exists.
I could be honest too, being that we've worked through that space, even at times when I sit down and talk to you now, the communication and conversation is different. Yeah. Because I'm not feeling like I'm finna be dealing with somebody who gonna make excuses for everything that they do. Right. And let's be clear, that's part of the ego and the pride. When you sit there and can't take accountability for nothing.
It's never me when I got
no accountability, baby, check that ego and that pride. How do you sit in a relationship or at any relationship and not own your behavior?
Hey, so guess what? There's some people right now watching right now and their partner is right 3,000 times.
Yeah.
I'll say it because they can't tell you. Let me tell you, you're not right every time. You have not been right every time.
Right.
They just got tired of telling you that you was wrong.
Correct. And what happened, they become silent.
And that is very dangerous.
And that's very dangerous because then you're in that competition space. You're in that space where you're now competing. I'm competing not to deal with you because I don't want to deal with you.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, that's what happened. So this conversation was so good, Antonio. I'm glad we were able to talk about it. I'm glad we were able to share some of the things that we went through, right? We felt like this conversation was so important because, like Antonio said, ego and pride is in every relationship.
Yeah. I wouldn't be sitting here now with you if I never checked ego and pride before we close out. Like, that's how serious ego and pride is.
Yeah.
I have no doubt that we would not be here had we not shook that monkey off our back. I have no doubt about that.
I agree. So in closing, we want you guys to understand that relationships take work.
Yes.
Right? Healing and being your very best self take work. You have to heal. You have to have the ability to look inward. But today's conversation about ego and pride, it has no room in no relationship. So if you're dealing with it, if anything that we said today kind of caught your ear, you saying, man, I'm probably dealing with this. Listen, have the conversation. Because that means that you have a third person that has entered your relationship. Okay, so thank you guys so much for joining us tonight on the Love Rekindle Show, where real conversations meet real healing and where love is not just restored, but reborn. Okay, so remember this. Strong relationships aren't built in grand moments, y'all, but in daily choices. Choosing grace, choosing growth, and choosing each other. Okay, so this episode is sponsored by Jonna Earl, closet designer of Exclusively Yours by Jay. Not only do we love organization, but let's rekindle your space. Gift yourself or your loved one with a beautifully organized closet. Okay, so use the code LOVECLOSETS, LOVECOLSETS for 10% off. Financing is available. Okay, so schedule your consultation at exclusivelyoursbyj.com. This episode is also powered by Platinum Luxury Fleet. If you are in need of luxury black car service worldwide, visit PlatinumLuxuryFleet.com for all your transportation needs. Professionalism, style, and comfort. Schedule your services with them today.
Hey guys, I know Margot and I discussed a lot tonight, but if you have any questions at all about the topic tonight about ego and pride, please email us at info@loverekindle.com. We would love to answer your question because I know you got a lot of questions. So email us and we'll take care of the answers for you.
Our hope is that something you heard today touched your heart, shifted your perspective, or reminded you that love, when nurtured and intention, can transform everything it touches. Until next time, keep loving, keep growing, and keep rekindling. Good night, family.
Night, family.